Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 12th of July, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. Again, just turned bearish yesterday, and we're back below the cloud in the short term. We've got a new downside target here, not yet activated, but that'll be about 4.5% downside. So the dollar is still looking weak against the basket of currencies. Remember, this is the dollar index. So we're just bearish in the short term. The euro actually turning bullish again, making new 14-month highs. So we're seeing really back to levels that we were at the start of last year. We've always said we need to be above this 115 level consistently to feel comfortable that we've got a long-term transition. That would start to unwind some of these downside targets on the long-term chart. And we do have quite a few upside targets. So the euro looking stronger all the time. Japanese yen, the dollar has actually made this transition against the yen where we're actually in bullish territory. Dollar did fall away yesterday, just putting us back in a short-term bearish mode, but only just. And the key thing is that this transition is positive for the dollar, and that may be enough to put a floor on the dollar. Sterling falling heavily this morning. We're seeing yesterday we sold off, and we're back nudging the low 128 area. So that's really sort of signifying a double top here potentially on this medium-term chart, and the long-term target's still in train, of course. So bearish downside. Short-term, we've got another 1.2% downside. Looking at sterling against the euro, falling away here as well. Downside targets all to sort of 108, 110 area. So sorry, 110, 80, 110. 40, 110, 50. So really looking like we're going below this 110 area. So this level that we saw last year as a low is coming under pressure. Looking at sterling against the Swiss franc, we're seeing that as well, and against the Australian dollar falling away too. So sterling falling pretty well across all currencies now. The S&P 500 index, fairly benign yesterday, didn't really do much. The Nasdaq 100, it's continuing its recovery. We're not quite above the cloud yet on the short-term chart, so it's a bit early to say that this is a full-blown recovery, but it is looking better. And the Dow Jones also is bullish above the cloud. Russell 2000 index is pretty mixed in the short term. We're just very flat over the last several weeks, so we need to see what happens there. The future down very slightly this morning on the S&P, and the Nasdaq E-mini also is climbing in the short term, but down very, very slightly, so no clear direction as to which way the market will open. FTSE had a bad day yesterday, down 0.5%, and we are still seeing these downside targets playing out, so short-term FTSE is bearish. And the FTSE 250 is also making new lows at the moment. We haven't seen these levels since April, so FTSE 250 is falling away quite significantly. Downside targets here of 2 and 4.5%, so we are just seeing that playing out now. The DAX is bearish below the cloud, and the Nikkei falling back 0.5%, although we are bullish on most time frames now. Hang Seng is looking very bullish, up more than 0.5%, and Shanghai is just pulling back a little bit, but still looking pretty bullish in the short term. The Sensex index looking bullish on all fronts, so this is the best looking market still at the moment. And the S&P Australian index bearish below the cloud. Brent crude is through the cloud, so we're just into a short-term recovery here. We are just seeing that short-term recovery, but still bearish below the cloud. And WTI is also looking bullish short-term, but medium-term is still bearish. US Natgas falling away just slightly now, but it was up yesterday, back above the $3 level and putting us back into bullish territory above the cloud. Going straight to gold, we're seeing gold recovering short term now, just above the cloud, so maybe we've just hit a floor on gold. And silver, much the same thing, we're short term recovery here. So it'll be interesting to see whether this is a turning point and we can see a recovery now. US 10-year Treasury yields just turning a little bit bearish here, back to the mid-230s, and we do have a target of 229, so we're just seeing 10-year yields just falling away there. Apple holding that 142.50 level back up to that 145 level and upside target, so Apple starting to look better. Google not quite out of the woods yet, not back above the cloud. Amazon back through the cloud, so looking more bullish on the short-term chart. Facebook really motoring here, so back above the cloud on the short term, looking better. And Microsoft just recovering through the cloud as well. So tech is looking a lot better than it was last week, but we're not still fully out of the woods, so we just need to see a couple more bullish days to be confident that this is a buying opportunity. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.